What is going on, guys? Horizon here, and today we are discussing one of the most difficult lessons to learn in Rocket League. And that lesson is how to understand that a loss for your team really does fall on your shoulders, no matter what mistakes are made or not made by the other players on your squad. And to look at this, we are going to be looking at an absolutely gut-wrenching loss. What we're looking at here is Game 5 of a best of 5, so win this game and we win the series, lose it and, well, we go home quite unhappy. And based on how this is starting and the title, I'm sure you can guess where this is going, but this is probably one of the most painful losses of my entire competitive career. But let's go ahead and play this forward and just see all of the ways that we possibly could have been better. You guys are going to be going through this with me for the very first time. I haven't looked at this replay since we played this match last night, so it should be interesting to see where we could possibly be going better. But let's go ahead and kick this off and just see what we got going on. Just going to chat through it today, give it, you know, a little bit of a lighter feel to this. So just kind of spinning on around. Decent challenge off the wall. One thing I do notice right here, though, is we do have a bit of initial wasted movement, and this doesn't seem like much, but it is kind of important to be able to understand like where opponents are coming from. So like right here, we are currently turning back towards the net as if there is an active threat of a shot going towards that area, when in reality the play is actually going into the corner. Now this isn't the worst thing, but we do just want to be careful of like knowing where the play is going to go so we can position ourselves accordingly ahead of time. Not a bad play here by any means. We do have the net covered and we do get back for the challenge. Just gonna get in that guy's way a little bit more. Teammate gets the clear off the backboard. No boost for us here. Let's see what we do. Hanging out, get one pad to allow us to make the save. Gonna get caught on low boost here as well. So we're going to be on 0 this entire time from when we land on this corner wall. So we do a really nice job initially of just grabbing one pad, watching the possible danger, and being ready to cut in on this to cut this ball out, which is really good. But when we land here, I think it's really important, as soon as we see our teammate play this ball into the corner, we need to be looking for whatever pads we can. We turn off ball cam here for a second to like assess the situation out in the midfield. But then we don't take advantage of the little bit of time we have to like at least sneak this pad. We possibly could even like grab this one and do this little triangle thing here to get back into a good spot. But instead we're kind of just lingering around. We do get that mid pad stolen, and if we had actually like tried to go get it, we could have gotten it before that opponent, which would have given us more of an opportunity to do things up the field then. But then, yeah, just anything we can do here to give ourselves more boost in this midfield is probably going to be advantageous. We do a decent job, so not the end of the world. I'm not a huge fan of this challenge. This looks pretty much like we're going to get beat regardless by Slazy there, who's jumping. This is a great opportunity to just force this touch here, drive away, let the ball go loose to the wall, and allow our third man to come in while we rotate back, allowing ourselves to not be in a situation where we only have one defender. Because particularly once you get to this rank, when you only have that one defender back, you are really going to be putting your team under a lot of pressure if two of your players commit forward and there's only one man back at that point. So bit of a poor decision here to dive like this. We are pretty lucky that Slazy actually does end up missing, which allows this ball to end up in a very awkward spot. But if that works out how the opponents want it to, Odyssey is now stuck on his own for a long time, since both CJ and I are stuck in the opponent's net. So need to be careful of that for sure. Good little boost steal there. Good little annoyance touch as well. Again, this is tough as well, because as we make this touch, we can see that we have a teammate lingering here in the midfield. So if we hit this into the mid, we could allow this to come through while we, again, continue to rotate back. But the bigger problem here is, again, our unnecessary dive. We're not going to win this ball. We're not going to do anything great on this challenge. There's no reason that we need to be jumping and using resources and committing for this ball because we're simply not going to get the block. So it would be much better, again, to just force him to make the touch, drive away, let the ball go into a pretty useless spot for them initially, and have all three of our members back on defense to be able to continue to challenge the ball. But instead, we dive at this. CJ also dove at it because we, again, probably cut through the midfield when we didn't have to. And now look at the spot that we, again, left Odyssey in. He does a great job on very low boost to put that ball into a safe spot, but that is a lot of unnecessary pressure on our third man simply because we're making poor decisions up the field. See what we got. Decent touch off the wall. That one gets away from us, though. Not a great touch there. Defense scattered on the back end. And yeah, you can look at this all you want and say that our defense needs to make a better play on the goal line, but at the end of the day, the only reason they're in this awkward situation is because I have this horrendous touch that just gets away from me. And this is just unacceptable. Realistically, like, we don't even need to jump here. We could have just popped this ball up and gone to the ceiling, which would have given us far more versatility in what we were going for, but instead we committed to just jumping immediately, and now we're using a lot more boost. We're in a situation where we're in a lot less control of our car, and it causes, you know, just pretty much an absolute disaster class, where the ball just bounces directly to the opponent. We're not able to get a touch on the ball as it goes past us, and now because our team isn't necessarily prepared to handle this, they end up in a situation where Odyssey thinks CJ is going to go, CJ thinks Odyssey is going to go, but this is all caused because we let the ball fall into a pretty dangerous spot, and that's entirely on us. We've easily a play that we could have completely taken the danger out of as long as we made a decent play off that backboard, which we simply didn't. CJ, decent challenge. Really weak. This just simply needs to be better. Like, this is a wide open top of the net. Like, anything into this area is a goal because this dude's recovering facing this way. This dude's backwards in the net that way. This dude's all the way out here. These are the kinds of opportunities that we absolutely need to capitalize on. We cannot have opportunities like this where there is a wide open part of the net and we just simply don't take it. And even worse, we don't even put like a shot really threateningly on target at all. I don't even know if that shot's... It is on target, but like, it's literally directly at all three defenders. You really can't shoot the ball any worse than that unless you just put it completely off target. So, really bad play there from me. Overall, again, we're really aggressively pushing upfield. All three of us now are in the opponent's final third, which is just a recipe for danger. And again, we're jumping at something that we have absolutely no reason to jump at. Like, what do we think we're going to gain out of this? What are we going to get? A 50? Maybe, but we just saw that all three of us are up here. So if we get a 50, sure, that's great, but it's probably just going to the opponents anyway, and it's going to be a dangerous counterattack. Again, that Odyssey is going to have to deal with as he is the first one who is going to be heading back to defense. Again, no reason to jump. We're flopping, we're flipping, we're flopping, we're diving at things we don't need to dive at. And now we're just awkwardly on defense with zero boost because of this whole situation, and... why did we not get any pads on this rotation? Where are we going here? So we land here. Why would we think that after we've just taken ourselves out of the play and we only have 12 boosts, that the idea would be to go back this way where all the players are, which means all of the boost is going to be taken? Why not just go this way where all these mid pads are already that we can get, or we can, you know, swing out even wider if this ends up not being a dangerous situation? But why are we committing into the trafficked area for absolutely no reason? There's nothing we're going to be able to do there. We're just throwing ourselves somewhere on the field for no reason. We are useless here, and there's no boost. So now we're back in defense, but we have no boost to help our team. Luckily, CJ is able to make that save, but that is horrendous rotations from me in terms of where we're putting ourselves on the field. We're going to score off of it, though. I mean, we got a goal. It's decent then pathing up the field to like pick up whatever boost we can, and we're at least staying involved here. So it's good on us then to like be willing to path up the field even on low boosts and just be able to pick up pads to be able to be effective. And right there you see the exact reason why we do path off those small pads. It just would have been nice to see us, oh, I don't know, do that on defense as well. Odyssey coming in, looking for the shot, not quite. We have the opportunity and we're going to score it. So We get 2 goals here in the final game of this series. This shot's not the best, and it again comes off of this really awkward situation where we try to stay involved in the play when we don't have to. Like, we're pushed way too far up the field right here. We should be significantly further back. And we can know this by the fact that we see Odyssey back there has full boost. He was pointing up the field already, so instead of being aggressive and trying to turn here, let Odyssey's momentum carry him forward. We go back just a little bit further. Just in case, you know, CJ gets blocked, then we have Odyssey covered for the ball that goes over the top of him. And then when Odyssey has his clear ball, now we can start to move back up the field, just being a little bit behind him. And now we can even have a more powerful, more attacking shot that they have less time to plan for. But instead, we're kind of just, you know, moving on to it at the last second. Luckily, they're in such a bad spot that it doesn't matter. But definitely not our best work in terms of rotations and positioning so far in this game. And despite the fact that we have the 1-goal lead, we are really not putting ourselves in the best spots, and it's probably going to come back to bite us at some point. Much better job staying with the ball off the backboard there. Looking for a little nudge in the midfield. Sure, why not? Grab some boost here, just kind of hanging out. Again, being patient. Much better there. Recognize the free ball. Not the best touch, kind of just gives away possession immediately. Wish that ball would have gone more up the wall. We actually also probably have more time here. It's really important to recognize immediately, like, look. They're both at a dead stop. This dude's all the way back along their backboard. We have time here. We don't need to try to get the very first touch we can. We could even fake this, bait them forward, and then look for a better touch after the fact. There's a lot that we can do here to put ourselves in a more successful position. And instead, we just, you know, go as fast as possible and try to take the first touch we can. And because of that, we don't get the best touch, and we actually end up just giving the ball right back to our opponents. Luckily, they don't do the most with it, but definitely not the play that we should be making in that kind of situation. Here we go. Look at, there we go. Defensive pad pathing. We love it. And we're going to follow it up by diving at the ball again. Again, there's no reason. Is there a threat? Let's see. Is there any world where this dude puts this ball behind us? No. It's very clear, based on where he's coming from, that the ball is going that way. So if the ball is going into the sidewall, into the corner, why do we feel a need to jump at it? Because if there's no threat, why bother? Why not just go, oh, you're going that way? Great. I'll go that way too. And then when the ball just rolls that way, I can be there to challenge you. But instead, we're diving when we don't have to, and it's just putting us in really bad spots, putting extra stress on our defense that we don't need to be putting on it for really no reason at all. CJ makes a great save. That's awesome. We're going to get some pads on our way back to be able to support. It's going to allow us to pressure out again. That dive I don't mind as much because of the fact that a shot could have been coming from that position. Minute 15. Don't mind that either because we're actively able to put an attempted shot towards target and it might work out. Same thing with that one, cutting off angles towards the net. Dear gosh, what is this? This just needs to be recognition immediately that this dude is turning, and this needs to be an immediate flick. Even if this dude is not turning, let's say that he's going to fake challenge this, and even let's say that he's actually not going to challenge the ball at all. If we can clearly see that he's not challenging the ball, then yes, we'll take it on the dribble, we'll take more time. But as long as he's in this kind of awkward spot here, there's no reason to risk the fact that he can easily turn up, block any kind of catch here, and just play the ball back into our own half. We have a free opportunity to clearly get this ball at least into their corner by just simply flicking the ball over the top of them. Instead of this, where we just invite the free challenge. And now again, look at where we're positioned. CJ and I up the field aggressively. Odyssey last back. Luckily, they don't have boost to capitalize on the situation, but unnecessary risks for sure when we had a much clearer opportunity there to just put the ball into a perfectly safe spot where we possibly could have developed offense off of that touch rather than trying to go for it immediately. This one hurts. This one hurts because this is a wide open net And if we score this, I guarantee you we win this series. If I score this goal, I guarantee you we win this series. And this is 2 shots in this game where we had opportunities on fairly open nets. This one's wide open because CJ is going to get the demo. Of course, at this moment, we don't exactly know that. But this net is wide open. The other one, the ball right next to the goal line, we hit that really softly as well. This one we just miss. These are the kinds of opportunities that really decide whether you win or lose these series against higher rated teams. Because if you capitalize on these opportunities and put pressure on them, it could be 4-1 if I put this ball in the back of the net and had scored the previous one. You miss both of those opportunities, and all of a sudden you still only have a 1-goal lead. And that's a lot more fragile than having a 3-goal lead. And it is just bitterly disappointing to be in that kind of situation. Of course, then we leave Odyssey in a bad spot. He commits forward, just trying to limit the danger of the counterattack. We're still in a decent spot. We get a good challenge. Again, though, look at the position we're constantly leaving Odyssey in here. And again, let's consider, is there a reason we need to dive at this? So right here, can we jump at this? Yes, we can. Great, we can jump at it. That's cool. But is there a reason to? Not really. As of right now, there's only one person on this ball. They're literally jumping from the edge of their final third. I'm not threatened by a jump from this position. What I am threatened by, though, is if I commit forward and lose the challenge and the ball just falls over here to, say, Banshee. And now he has a free 1v1 opportunity coming the other way because I committed forward in a spot that I didn't need to. Simply unnecessary commits towards the ball where we don't need to. Now, if this is a situation where we're losing, then maybe we could be a little bit more aggressive. But if I don't think you're going to be able to do anything effective with the ball that you have, I don't need to commit for it. And again, look at this. CJ and I both in the opponent's corner. Odyssey left completely alone. Best of luck to you, my friend. Luckily, they don't score the open net on the air dribble, and we're going to go ahead and get back. 10 seconds to go. We're looking for pads. What do we do here? It's the same gosh darn play. 1 second. 1 second left on the clock, and they tie the game. Why? Why do they tie the game here? Well, you could argue, if you want to, point the finger at somebody else, you could say, well, yeah, but surely CJ should have, taken a better 50 here. Maybe let the ball roll a little bit further because it doesn't look like this guy's actually shooting it. Maybe been a bit more patient and would have been fine. I say that this Yahoo should just grab this boost and turn around. Because what the heck is that guy gonna do from that spot on the wall? I'll tell you what, it's probably gonna be a whole lot of nothing. And if you turn around here, you have multiple defenders back. Why, let's look. Why, yes, look, we'd have 2 defenders back, one with full boost who's able to initially defend this threat. So when this touch happens, if I'm just waiting back here, I just let the ball roll. And I have free control of the ball because I'm right on top of it. Or I can even play it back into that opposite corner and probably run out the rest of the clock. But instead, I dive forward, which leaves CJ with very low boost, with the entire opposing team bearing down on him. And no wonder he's in a bit of pressure and probably doesn't make the best challenge he possibly could have, because he's got the entire team coming at him because I've left him in the world's worst spot possible. And these are the kinds of things that you need to understand. It's just looking for ways that you could have put your team in a better situation. Because could we have won that game if we had just put ourselves in a slightly better spot defensively? Yeah, we absolutely could have. But instead, we find ourselves in overtime for 2 reasons. 1, we're being too aggressive on our challenges in midfield. And 2, we're not capitalizing on opportunities when they present themselves. It simply comes down to that. We don't capitalize on our opportunities, and we dive unnecessarily and give opponents opportunities that they shouldn't have. And when you do that, you end up in situations like this. What is this positioning, though? Really awkward just immediately here. So we come back. There's no reason for us to move up the field here. because CJ's still in front of us. And now look at where we are. Look at where the shot is coming from. If this guy hits this ball, we're toast. Luckily, he doesn't, but I'm just not paying attention to where anyone's going, and it is causing a world of problems. Good win over the top. Bailing out, that's fine. Could have been more aggressive there. And that's going to be game. It just sucks, man. It's so tough. We absolutely could have turned on that ball. CJ gets a good challenge. I would argue there's really no reason to dive at this because we don't know where our third teammate is. And we're not going to be able to cut down enough angles on this shot. And we're not even jumping in front of our net. Like, we don't even have the net covered at all. And it's just an absolute travesty. It's a terrible end to that series, honestly. An absolutely terrible end to a series that it felt like we played really well. But when you go back and really look, you can really see all the small things that you did really poorly. And I think that's a really important lesson. And honestly, one of the hardest lessons that you can learn is you always feel like you're playing better when you're actually playing the game. When you go back and look at it after the fact, it becomes really clear that there's an awful lot that you can do better pretty much at any point during the game. As we saw here, yeah, it was really close. We only lost by 1 goal in overtime, but we could have been up by a lot more. We could have taken a lot less risks when we had the lead, and it could have ended a lot better for us had we simply played better. So, very important lesson there for you guys to learn, and I hope this showcases that idea really well for you guys. And hopefully it's a lesson that you can take in your own games, particularly when you're then looking back at them, is to realize that there are always things that you'll be able to do better. Of course, thank you everybody so much for watching. I really do appreciate each and every one of you who made it to this point in the video, and I do hope you did enjoy it. If you did, make sure you click that subscribe button right down below so you make sure you don't miss any future Rocket League content. Additionally, if you guys would like to be a bit more involved in the community we're building here, do feel free to check out my Discord, which will be linked down in the description. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.